Does anybody in Canada even talk about innovation and excellence anymore? Where's the discussion in Canada about how we're going to grow our economy? The Canadian economy is essentially flat over the last decade. Compare this to our neighbors to the south. In the 80s and early 90s, Canada's GDP per capita was close to America's. However, today, Americans are 35 to 40% more wealthy than Canadians on average. America has its own problems, but the fact they still have a growing economy provides them with a lot more options on how to deal with them. Canada, on the other hand, has a flat economy. Yet do we even talk about this anymore? Has Canada just given up on economic growth? A major focus, certainly at a national level, in the last decade or so, has been on combating climate change and promoting diversity.
The solutions that not just Canada, but the world needs in a net zero economy.
The Canadian story is about finding strength in our diversity.
But these are not the most important issues in Canada right now, and we cannot keep acting like they are. We need economic growth and productivity, and we need it now. We have a severely strained healthcare system. Wait times have become totally unacceptable. But most Canadians are not in a place financially where we can simply raise taxes to fix this. We need to solve this issue, in large part, by growing our economy so that we can collect taxes on newly created wealth and productivity. Another reason we desperately need to increase productivity is we have a rising national debt, and we need to figure out how the heck we're going to pay this off, or at least keep it from ballooning out of control. Sure, our debt to GDP is not as bad as some other major countries like the United States, but the USA is the world's reserve currency, and basically every other country on Earth depends greatly on the strength of the US dollar and the US economy. Many countries also rely heavily on the strength of the American military. Canada, on the other hand, is not in this position. We do not have nearly the amount of leverage internationally America does, and therefore, we cannot afford to be reckless with our national debt. If Canada defaults on its debt, it'd be a major problem, as our nation's financial credibility and therefore ability to sell new debt would be destroyed, and the world ultimately would move on. Canada is not too big and powerful to fail like the United States likely is. Therefore, we cannot run up our national debt as much as the great powers of the world like America can. So, whether Canadians like it or not, we have to deal with this debt. And, short of extreme austerity measures, we're not going to be able to start paying it off without economic growth. Another reason we so desperately need to grow our economy is to combat our out-of-control housing crisis. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party have been consistently hammering this message to Canadians, and it's been working. I personally think they should continue to do so, as the housing crisis is so ridiculous at this point. Home prices are simply out of control. But the other side of the equation when it comes to this housing crisis is personal incomes, and a growing economy will raise the incomes of Canadians. The buzzword right now in Canada is affordability and not productivity or growth. But why don't we talk about both? Do we even care about increasing productivity anymore? Everyone in Canada over the last decade seems to be far more concerned about how to split up the pie and far less concerned about how to grow the economic pie. But this cannot continue. We've run out of resources to split up, as evidenced by our strained healthcare system and apparent need to go further into national debt. We must grow the pie and figure out how to do it quickly. And I think, and I really believe this is true, that we need a national shift in our mentality. What are our priorities as a country? So much of our focus nationally has been on fighting climate change, promoting diversity, and other social issues. I'm not even saying that stuff is not important, but is it the most important? Throughout my entire adult life in Canada, I've rarely heard a peep about how our country can strive for excellence in business and technology. There have not been that many success stories in Canada in recent years due to our mostly flat economy. But two good examples of Canadian success stories are Shopify and Lululemon. These companies were started in 2006 and 1998 respectively, and are both worth over $50 billion US today. Shopify has even been Canada's largest company at times. The media and our political leaders should highlight the tremendous jobs these companies have done more often, while encouraging others in Canada to follow in their footsteps. But I don't see that happening often. In fact, I bet most Canadians aren't even aware Shopify is a Canadian company, and Shopify is worth well over $100 billion and was only started in 2006. An example of our country's current mentality toward economic growth is the ongoing debates about oil pipelines. Pipeline projects continue to be delayed and stalled, even though they would add to economic productivity. This mentality is ultimately not good for Canada. Those who are pro-pipeline are not anti-environment. It's just an effective way to transport oil. But whether it be in oil and gas, technology, or whatever industry, Canada needs to embrace and promote the spirit of entrepreneurship and excellence in business. We've got to figure out a way to get our economy growing again. And we've got to stop constantly talking about all the ways Canada is ruining the environment, all of our mistakes from the past, or all the things that may divide us. So look, I think the bottom line is that Canada needs a more upbeat and optimistic view of the future. One where we focus on hard work, innovation, and all the things that unite us. With that said, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and have a great day.